the person. That's a horse. Hello friends, family, and internet strangers. Stephanie here with part 1 of the long-teased Ireland video. I went to Ireland in September of 2022 with my mother. We spent a few days in Dublin and then we were on a guided vacation with Collette Vacations. So I filmed a lot, and now in the editing process I'm realizing that this is going to be a lot more than the 2 parts I planned on. So this is most likely going to be a 3-part series. Part 1 right now, we're going to get into our time going to and being in Dublin before the guided part of the tour began. Good morning from LAX. I have coffee. It is early. I got up at 2:43 this morning. I always wake up on a 3. So 2:43, I was out the door by 5 after 3 and to the airport 3:45. Got through the shuttle from the economy lot. The new LAX economy lot is really nice. I have not been over there yet. Then I took the shuttle over to the airport. There was no line at security. So I was already to my gate at 4:30 a.m. My flight is at 6, but since I'm traveling internationally after my first flight, I had to get here super early and the coffee wasn't even open yet. But now it is. I had to wait in a longer line for coffee than I did for security. Okay, the N95s are no joke. Look at my nose, look at my face. I just have a giant indent, but you know what? If I don't get COVID during my trip, it'll be worth it. I am in the Charlotte airport. I have never seen an airport this crowded, and pre-pandemic I flew often, so it's not like I'm never in airports. But holy cow, even the crew here, the staff, was just looking around going, what is happening here? There was so much congestion in the gate area when I was getting off of the plane. It was like stopped, like bumper to bumper traffic. I felt like I was in LA, but on foot. So I flew through Charlotte. I had a couple options. Charlotte was my main choice, mainly because Bojangles. Because, you know, if I had options and that was one of them, I'm gonna have my Bojangles now. I ordered a 4-piece and I think they just went, that looks about right. There's definitely at least 6 of these little Supremes in here. But I got these, and of course I got my Bojangles Diet Pepsi is down there because I'm sitting in a rocking chair. The tables were too crowded. Just bought chocolate, ready for the nice long flight. Probably won't sleep at all, but hopefully it's a good flight. We have made it to Dublin. It was quite the adventure. Our flights were supposed to get in 10 minutes apart. We ended up both getting in at the same time and both having to wait 40 minutes for a gate. So as my mother was walking past my gate, I was walking out. So we met up at the same time, went through the passport check together, and then the adventure was trying to find where we got our vouchers for our bus, because we got the hop on hop off that also includes public transportation, which we could use to get to the hotel from the airport, and it was a challenge trying to find it. They brought our luggage right up to the room. This is what we've got here in Dublin for the first couple nights of our trip. And we've got a restroom there. I have now slept a little bit. So back to adventure time this morning. We could not find the place to pick up our bus card and Do Dublin, which is the hop on and off pass. and we finally eventually found it, but there was no signage whatsoever that would let you know that it's there. So if you are ever doing the Do Dublin pass and you are trying to pick it up at the airport so you can use the bus transfer to your hotel, it is in the shipping area where you can ship excess baggage. So if you see like the DHL box, that's where you're supposed to go, and there's not a single sign that says Do Dublin. So there's a tip for y'all if you're looking for that in the Dublin airport. And then we eventually found the bus, and then on the bus, it was not even 7:30 a.m. and we had our first encounter with a drunk Irishman, and I will let my mother tell you that story.
So this guy gets on the bus, and we're in the very first seat, and he immediately starts talking to Stephanie. And she's just like, uh-huh. And then finally, the bus driver rescues her and says, "Sir, please sit down." So he goes probably 4 or 5 seats behind us and sits down. The entire bus ride, he was talking to everyone around him about how terrible his life was, and he was so drunk and he didn't know which stop he was getting off at, and it was just on and on and on. And there were 2 ladies sitting behind us who were also tourists from the United States, and I could hear them every now and then chuckling the way we were chuckling as well. So eventually he gets off the bus, and I turn around to the ladies and to Stephanie, and I say, if I didn't know better, because when I worked in the meeting planning industry, sometimes, you know, I'd travel and there would be staged things that happened in the area. I said, if I didn't know better, I would have thought that was staged. Here's your first encounter with Ireland on the bus. And other people heard me and they left, and then a couple of people actually clapped when he got off.
So that was our first encounter with a drunk Irishman in Ireland. We've had encounters with drunk Irishmen before, just not in Ireland. So that was the first time for that, and it probably will not be the last because we are here for just about 10 days. But after that, we dropped off our bags at the hotel, and even though it was only 8 a.m., we knew our room wouldn't be ready. We were just gonna drop off the bags, and Mom was gonna change really quickly. But then when she was done changing and we went to drop off the bags, I think he was a manager, but one of the managers said, "Do you want breakfast?" And we just kind of said, okay. And he was like, "Let me get you set up with breakfast. And by the time we're done with breakfast, we'll have your room ready." So we actually got to nap early. And so we slept from about 9 a.m. to noon, and now we're a little bit more refreshed. It actually feels like a different day today instead of a very long extended day from the day before. And now we're gonna go do some sightseeing on the hop-on, hop-off bus. We did one round of the hop-on, hop-off bus without getting off, so we did the full tour. Then we just had a dinner. It was about 3 o'clock, so it was dinner from a place back there called Flanagan's. So that is my mom's side of the family. Her mother was a Flanagan. So when we saw that, we knew we had to eat there at some point, and the menu looked pretty good. We had fried brie to start, and it was kind of like a mozzarella stick, but brie. And then she had roasted chicken, and I had bangers and mash. It was delicious. Now we're going back out on the hop on, hop off, but this time we're actually going to hop off and back on. I am Irish on one side of the family, Italian on the other side, so all sorts of Catholic, all the Catholic on both sides. So of course we will be stopping at every church we come across, as we usually do, right Mom?
Correct.
This particular one is not necessarily Catholic, but it's still a cathedral and it's still Christian, so it counts. This pigeon is loving life over here at this fountain. And then this one is a Catholic church, and you can see Mom has already gravitated right towards it. This is St. Patrick's Cathedral. So we got off the hop on, hop off bus at the Phoenix Rising Park, I think it's called. Mom's tour is going to be coming here. Mine, unless I have to change plans because of weather, isn't. So I don't know if I've mentioned this in the video at all yet, but we are doing a guided Colette vacation. We just got here a day early, so we have about a day and a half to ourselves before the guided part of the tour starts. So once we get to tomorrow evening, most of our plans are made out for us. But for the Dublin tour, there was an option between a walking tour and a driving tour. So I'll be doing the walking tour unless it is pouring, and Mom will be doing the driving tour. So mine most likely will not be coming here, but I love ducks. And I was hoping there would be some sort of pond when I kind of saw this from afar from the hop on, hop off bus earlier. So I'm glad I was right. It's so pretty here. This required a hill, so Mom waited at the top. And now there's stairs, which honestly are sometimes easier than a hill. What is that animal? Did y'all hear that? A honking type noise? It did not sound like a typical duck, but look at them all standing there. They're so cute. Okay, back to the task at hand. Good morning. It is day 2 in Dublin. It is raining, as you can see by the umbrellas. This morning we went to the National Gallery of Ireland, then we stopped for coffee. Now we are waiting in line to go see the Book of Kells at 11:30. We have about 5 more minutes until 11:30. You excited, Mom?
Very.
So the Book of Kells is the 4 Gospels of the Bible, but it's on like a massive, what is it, calfskin print that they used in Latin, and they used over 100 calves to make the calfskin print. So we just finished up the Book of Kells. Now we're waiting for the bus to go over to St. Patrick's Cathedral, and yesterday we were there outside, but today we're actually gonna go inside. We got tickets for that. It was too late in the day yesterday to do it. And for the Book of Kells, I would not necessarily recommend paying to do it. If it's part of a tour that you're doing, it's great. If not, it was actually a little bit disappointing because the book itself, it's smaller than what people were describing it as. It almost looked like a spell book when you watch Charmed or Hocus Pocus or something. It looked like the book from Hocus Pocus. It was kind of that size, just thicker. But also it was only open to 1 page that you could see, and Mom was disappointed that that page didn't have illustration on it. It was only writing, and so it wasn't that much to look at. The part I enjoyed was the room leading up to it, which showed more of kind of how they made it. And then I also enjoyed the long room of the old library, which was upstairs. That part was pretty cool, but the actual Book of Kells itself was not a whole lot to look at, and you had to fight a crowd to like get even a peek, and you couldn't really stay there and read any of it either. But it was cool to see once. Don't necessarily recommend spending the money on it if you're not super interested in it though. Mom and I have briefly gone our separate ways. She is going back to the hotel. She's sore, she's tired, and honestly, she's not used to wearing a mask for more than a few minutes. Meanwhile, I'm doing fine, and I'm used to wearing a mask 9 hours a day, 5 days a week in any weather condition. So I am going to the EPIC Museum, which is the Irish Emigration Museum, and she is back at the hotel. I'm headed back to my hotel, and that honestly was the best thing so far that I have done. So I really enjoyed that. I definitely recommend EPIC if you are in Dublin. It is the Irish Emigration Museum, and it is all about people who left Ireland, why people left Ireland, and a lot of Irish history. And so definitely recommend checking that one out. And now I think I'm gonna get a snack on my way back to the hotel, and then we start the guided portion of the tour. We are meeting our tour group at 5:15 in our lobby to do a little welcome dinner. And then I think it's driving around the city tonight and welcome dinner. And then tomorrow we officially start moving around as a group. Thanks so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss part 2 and part 3 coming out soon.